Hey everybody, Asher here. Today we're going to be playing some Satisfactory. Why? Because it's fun and because it's out in 1.0. And just to try to go into a little bit of just a relaxing play so I can talk about how things have been. So it's nice when you have your heads up display welcome you back. I guess this is another point just to give a quick shout out because one of my kids on a homework assignment that he had actually had a question on there, which was, does my dad have a YouTube channel? So hello, in case you happen to come across this. I'm shocked you didn't know because you've been using my YouTube account to watch YouTube and have destroyed my video algorithm. But it's still all in good fun. This is Satisfactory, the game about finding cute animals standing on your factory and wondering what the hell's going on. Where I'm at right now, that's probably the best place. Just to recenter here before we start is that we are in the early stages, just built the space elevator. About to try to go into unlocking phase 3 because I really want coal. I've never actually done a save. Well, I don't want to say that too clearly. I've only done one save on this before because if you've paid attention to this channel for a number of times, you know how I do with first-person games. I can only play this in small chunks, so I guess we will play a game called How Long Can I Go Before I Start to Yak? Anyway, we have assemblers. I'm just going to drop one here just so that we can go ahead and have that available. I'm going to be building to try to be making smart plating. And to make smart plating, we need two things. We need rotors, which are rods and screws, and we need reinforced plates, which is plates and screws. So what we're going to need is a lot of screws. If you've watched me play other games before, I'm not the king of efficiency. I'm just the king of putting things down. Not necessarily spaghettified, but still hopefully working out okay. So my goal here is going to be essentially to grab a bunch of stuff here if I could remember how to do the take all button. And I have some shit building. Like I have some stores here to get things started, but it's not the fastest, it's not the most, and we're going to be really can I pet you or are you going to run away from me still? You are. There we go. Unlike other games I've played recently, you can pet the dog here, so that's nice. We do have chainsaw for everything, but let's see. How are we doing on screws? We got a lot of screws, which is good. We've got a shit ton of screws. Did I really turn all of this in to make all the screws? Because if I did, good for me. Good for me to think ahead and just literally turn everything under the sun into screws. Because that was the number one thing that I got annoyed with in my last play of this, is that I didn't have enough screws and everything was slow because I didn't have enough screws. So probably the best way to do this is to go ahead and to get my assembly shit started. Now, if I were a good Satisfactory player, what I would honestly be doing, other than doing my hotkeys here, is building my entire factory on foundations. So maybe I start that now. Seems like a good plan here. So I like the 2-meter foundation. The 4-meter foundation is better. Ooh, that's one thing I need to do. I need to actually get some more. I almost said rock and stone, but that's not true. That's not this game. That's another first-person game that I have trouble with. I need to actually build a storage container so that all of my foundations that I have building over here just go along. So this is Satisfactory. In case you've never played it before, this is a perfect time to start. It is another factory building game that has a lot going for it and really lets you just kind of make your creativity just move. That's really how it is. And there's no like set way to do things right or do things wrong. I mean, technically me building like this is doing something wrong, but it's cool. No one's gonna say anything. So there, now we'll have even more rocks, although foundation shouldn't be too much, or concrete shouldn't be too much of an issue there, and technically it would be more efficient if I did this another way. It's gonna be great when I start doing this and run out of power soon, especially because I think I'm gonna need to bring in some more iron from somewhere else eventually. Yeah, definitely. But for now, we can at least start with foundations, all I ever wanted. And this would be easier if I wasn't a fool that did it this way, but it's fine. I honestly don't do the best with building in Satisfactory, and I don't know if that is just because my aversion to 3D like first-person stuff or what, but said all we're gonna do here is just build, build, build. If I were really good, I would have my stuff automatically being sent to the space elevator. Because I remember the first time I played through this and I was like, hey, great, I made all of the little things I need. But it's like one of those damn other games, like Dyson Sphere Program, which I have played here quite a bit, to be like, yeah, let's build. But enough about stuff. We'll eventually get in a pseudo-zen mode to work on that. How's work been going? You know, it was really great. I was feeling pretty good about stuff, and it's like, I have all this shit I want to talk about. And then what ended up happening today instead was I had a bunch of stuff that I tried to file and get together ahead of time and be like, okay, cool, here we go. Staying on top of my work as I try to do. I had some rare opportune times for desk work and got that in place only to have the world, and by the world I mean a certain office from the capital of the state or right around there say, by the way, you filed this stuff too early. You have to withdraw it and then file it again later. So my constant terror, at least in part of my law practice, is missing deadlines. And when you say someone to missing deadlines, you mean like, oh yeah, I don't want to file shit too late. Nope, this time I missed the deadline because I filed something not within a timely fashion too early. So that's just another chapter in driving myself crazy. And I mean, it's okay. As the person from the state office told me, shit happens. They'll get over it. Just fix it. That's the big thing. It's like, just fix it. That's what you got to do sometimes here. So we're gonna that's kind of hilarious that I say that, because I wasn't even trying to make a joke, and then here we are, literally fixing it with the chainsaw, clearing out our shrubbery with the chainsaw, clearing out the hedges with the chainsaw. Just all good sounds come with the chainsaw. I'm even going to get rid of this wonderful bush with the chainsaw. Didn't even get any resources here. So it's fine. Let's go ahead and just drop a few assemblers down and we can see how this is going to go. One of the big reasons you want to build, what's the word I'm looking for here? One of the big reasons you want to build these foundations is that it makes it a lot easier to set shit on the ground. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with 4 assemblers. That's technically not as much as I should be using. If other people that make content on YouTube are to be believed, I should have a whole giant thing penciled and stenciled and ready to go, but I'm just going to casual sauce it while I talk about other crap. Like, it's fun when you look at stuff and say, okay, how do other people do it? In a way, there's a lot to relate this to with the practice of law, and I wasn't expecting that at all, because there are times where literally my entire job. Oh, ooh, I should not have done that. Let's we're gonna do this a fancy way, and I didn't mean to do this a fancy way, but we're gonna do it a fancy way anyway. All right. So, yeah, one of the fun parts about legal practice is that everybody has really done all of this shit before already. So, ultimately, if you mess up, someone else has messed up something before. When I have to do things in court for criminal court, there's something called a transcriptive plea, where I have to constantly, not a merger, we're splitting here, where I have to constantly go through and say, you know, oh, that's gonna get ugly and block shit, isn't it? Let's give it a try. Hey, if I do it like this, it'll be fine, right? Perfect. Okay. And that way other resources can go in here and in here, and it'll be okay. All right. So this will be our reinforced plate side. And like I said, we're playing until I yak. Whatever that turns into. But here's our rotor side. Yeah, and this is where it's fun because I talk and I think and then I lose track of what I'm thinking about, and it's all okay. But yeah, what else has been going on? I mean, I have obviously my practice has changed a bit since I first started this channel. And it's always interesting to sort of hear about the journey that my career has been on with places. Ultimately, what it comes down to is that sometimes you just gotta... Oh boy, we're not going to do that. Ultimately, sometimes you gotta find the work that's available. And that work that's available right now is a lot of family law stuff, which I had sworn off because it had gone so bad early in my practice. But it's not the only thing that I have going on. There's still criminal work that I do as well. I could make this a little bit taller, potentially. Oh, not if I zap the floor here. All right, so let's that's not gonna work. But yeah, I also have criminal work that I do, and really did just do that backwards. There we go. And that criminal work has been very interesting in that it wasn't exactly how I expected things to go the past few weeks. And I've talked about some of these cases before and some of these cases that I haven't. But what it boils down to is essentially you can prepare and prepare and prepare, and it's kind of like the other case I was talking about earlier. Eventually, though, your preparations are going to all go to shit, and everything is just going to, in the famous words of anything, que sera, sera. What will be, what will be, will be. So I had a one trial that I've been trying to get off the ground for. Let's see, it's 2024 at the time of the making this video. So literally 4 years. It has not gotten off the ground. And one of the pet arguments that I have is, you know, this is a monumental waste of court resources just to say, you know, we have a trial that still is not happening. This is going to be really ugly. Let's do this another way. But long story short is that I have a client who needs hearing aids. I've talked about that case before. I did eventually actually get him hearing aids, which is very exciting. And you would think it wouldn't take so much work to get somebody hearing aids, but it did. And now we've turned into another issue where my client has gone from having hearing aids, and that's very exciting, to suddenly he is a judge refused to hear a case because now he's not competent to stand trial. Which, I mean, I disagreed with that for a while. We're going to do a little bit of clipping here because why not? It's only a little bit, so it's fine. But, like, so I've been working for years, literally years. I've talked to so many different judges. I've been with so many different DAs to say, okay, get my client hearing aids. And now I have to go through the whole process to get him evaluated to see, okay, can he actually stand trial? And here's the problem is that at one point he probably could have, but the case has been going on for so long that my client's a very advanced age, and well, eventually when you get old enough, shit starts to happen, and that is where he's at right now. You know, I maybe could do this a different way. If we do this like this, I don't know if that'll work. Maybe it'll work. It definitely won't work if I'm missing iron plates. Ugh. Resources, resources. So yeah, that's one thing. And I mean, it's not the worst thing. I'd prepared that case for trial for a while. Yep, here we go. Running out of power. Gotta fix that real quick. But yeah, so once again, you work and you work and you put all that work into it, only to have shit turn around and say, yeah, this is the 4th time this case has been up for trial in front of court, and now we can't hear it. And he has other pending charges. So, yeah, that's going to be very exciting, because I have to actually go and seek out a serious expert to not just go and send him to... The process in my state is that there's a central prison that you can go to. Yeah, he needs a bit more of a specialist, and to get more of a specialist, you need to actually make a request to the court specifically for funding to get that. Because if you're a private criminal attorney, you get... essentially what you get is your client foots the bill ahead of time for all of this stuff. But what we get here, this is actually going in, right? Right. Okay, that shouldn't be sitting here. We should have all the biofuel in the world to do all this. Okay, good. So let's split some stacks a little bit and call it a day. Maybe you. There's a better way to do this, but I didn't get around to setting it up yet, because I thought maybe I can make this work. I do eventually want to have these getting fed in manually, because you can see when all the power goes out, it really goes out. I got to keep 50 of these for myself, because I'm gonna have to do another fuel run in just a minute. So switch on, please. And we're good. Like, my capacity and stuff's good. I just actually ran out of fuel. So we'll have some chainsaw fun in a little bit between builds. And then there's another case. I'll just go ahead and go into that one, because it's kind of second verse, same as the first. Is that I had another trial that was scheduled, and so one of the things that I have to work with a lot of my clients is that because I am on the court-appointed roster, not everybody can afford, unlike what Blizzard Entertainment tell you, not everybody can actually afford to have a phone. So what that turns into is a problem where you have clients that are constantly changing phone numbers. That's solvable, though, because what you eventually do is say, okay, text me, get all this shit together. Or one specific client I had is email. So what ends up happening is we have email exchanges to say essentially, okay, I'm going to email you the discovery on the case. We're going to talk about the case. It's all going to work out because you've said from the start that you want to take this case to trial. Well, that is until we get to court. And when we get to court, my client puts on a very big show saying how I have never communicated with him, how he doesn't understand what's going on, how he doesn't like all of these facts that the state is suddenly bringing up pre-trial, and how he wants to hire his own attorney because I have not done my job communicating with him. Here's the problem, is that maybe once upon a time early on in my practice, you could have burned me for my disorganization. You might have been able to get me to say, oh no, I couldn't keep all my papers together. Things are tough. That's something I'll admit to. Oh, that is that's quite the clip. Let's make that a little neater. The problem, of course, is that my digital file management has always been superb, even with my desk being like a disaster area. It has always been just on point. So for a client to say, oh, my attorney hasn't contacted me, when I have emails that say, oh, yes, I have. Yeah, it's fun, but it's once again kind of par for the course, because you run into a client like this, and you talk a big game sometimes and say, I want to have a trial, I want to have a trial, I want to have a trial. And then I send all the stuff for like, well, we need to prepare for trial. Let's talk. I get some responses, and then eventually I get no response. So I had kind of a hunch that maybe my client would try to pull something, and he did. And I had receipts. And the judge, I mean, you got to give credit to judges when you can. They see this shit a lot. So it's not like it's a big surprise to say, okay, somebody really just doesn't want to have a trial today because the consequence train is coming into the station. And that's the worst part, is that I wanted to really talk to this guy because it's actually a legitimately very triable case. I'm not going to go into the facts because the case is still pending. I will just say this much, is that under the rule of law, when you have a possession case that's combined with a motor vehicle collision, you can't necessarily say where everything was found in the car. And considering that one of the things that was found in the car was a firearm, you have the whole Supreme Court's take on the Second Amendment lately, which y'all have heard me wax poetic about politics. I'm not going to go into it too much other than to say that the Supreme Court is still very much in support of any laws that will keep black people in jail. So don't hold your breath on them changing rules for that. Now there's the nausea. Just moving around there a little bit's great. So we have some of our stuff going for this. And I'm going to try just to choppy chop real quick to see if I can recover here. Like I said, we're going until I have to yak. And that was setting down those power lines kind of set me up for some yakitude. We do have this whole land area down here. Like I said, for now, I just want to be assembling a few things, and I did get some pro tips that maybe I will go into right here, because we're going to have to change the setup in just a little bit. One of the things that's really different from Dyson Sphere program, I probably shouldn't be trying to talk over the chainsaw here, but one of the things that's really different from Dyson Sphere program is that we don't have sorters, we don't have splitters, we don't have anything of that nature. I should really make a ramp to make this work a little better. Ooh, there's a puke burp, by the way. So what the workflow turns into a lot for this stuff is, fair to say, how do I want to do this? I think I want to have a merger here. It feels kind of silly to have a merger when we're just going to split it out in a minute, but this is all going to the same thing. So we can't have splitters that just pull stuff off the line. What we need to do instead is kind of work our workflow so that eventually we have everything going in the correct direction. And you want your stuff to kind of overfill on one side, not into the other. I hope that works. I suck at getting this stuff to work. So it's a beautiful galaxy over there. Don't need the chainsaw right now. So what we're just going to do is have a merging over here. And then we're going to split out some spare resources, because I am eventually going to need spare rotors. And I'm going to eventually need spare other things. So all we do here is just have a storage container. Let's put it down here because why not? Maybe not the best place. Well, we're not planning on building this out super big, so we'll just put it right here. So spaghetti, much wow. Okay. And all of this just to have... I have no idea how we're doing on rotors. Looks like there's finally a rotor. We're definitely going to need some more iron rods, which is fine. We're definitely going to need some more screws, which is fine. But this is all leading to one grand assembler that is apparently missing reinforced iron plates that are fortunately on the line, which is one reason we need a side queue of these, just to have the assembler over here This is very inefficient use of space, but it's cool. Maybe we like put one over here and eventually want to have two, but I'm just gonna really need to like pump up my production for having shit go in here. And you're gonna be making our smart plating. And eventually we will have everything we need to get the smart plating smarting over here. Like for a first setup, I was hoping to have maybe a little more available, but that's part of these kind of builds, is that you have other people that play the game and can just kind of immediately see the scale that's needed. For me, I'm just fighting against my vomit reflex. And see, I already put that box down on the wrong side. There we go. Now I get to... I'm doing something wrong here, and I'm gonna figure it out. Oh, well, that would do it. It helps when you have the whole thing set up incorrectly. Okay. But yeah, that's kind of how work has been lately. It's a job. That means there's some good things that happen. That means there's some shit that happens. But ultimately, it's all still on me to make sure this shit gets done. So what this is going to do is this is going to have half of these plates go over here, so I can use them later, and half of them go into this assembler, which will make smart plating. Supposedly the problem is it takes a really long time to make smart plating, and I need 50 of them. So, and I can't make them by hand. So what I need to do, probably to use my time wisely, is to get a little bit more fuel. See, we have 14 rotors here. I don't know if there's too much else I can build right now, so let's speak for the trees and chop them down real quick. We have some beautiful forest over here. And maybe while that's going, I can work on my efficiency for making stuff feed into my biofuel burner things, because I shouldn't have to be constantly running around to do that. So if you stayed with me this long, then I'll harken back to what I talked about before. I'm actually going to turn down the sound effects. Ooh, not go to feedback site. I'm going to turn down the sound effects here, as nice as they are. Tone yourself down, little chainsaw. So, like I said, it's cute. Kids are getting older and getting into their own things and doing their own things. And like I said, there was a question that was on a sheet of paper that was as part of an assignment that one of my kids had. He's still in elementary school, but he's like, "Does my dad have a YouTube channel?" So I guess if you're still watching here, you can put in the comments, I don't know. I'm not going to give my kid's name or anything, but you can always just put in there something about, I don't know. I don't even know what moralistic lesson I should try to troll one of my children with in the comments. You could always just put in there your favorite anime as a comment. That's one of the important things. So I was going to say something like the importance of reading, but that's kind of bunk to put in because my kids are both of my kids are actually really, really, really good readers, but we did just have to go on a nice 4-hour drive over the weekend. That was 4 hours each way. And he read for most of it, which I will tell you, he does not have the motion sickness problems I have, because I definitely could not read in the back of the car once upon a time. So yeah, just talk about anime in the comments, it's fine. He's into the usual things that kids his age like, so that means things like One Piece, Dragon Ball. Attack on Titan was one of the first ones they got into. He really wanted to read Death Note at first, but I wanted him to start with something else because I wasn't exactly sure if he'd be ready for it.
This semi-slug species seems to persist entirely through absorbing and storing energy from its surroundings. Studying this could provide new methods for improving FICSIT production line efficiency. Research it in the MAM to establish classification and potential application.
Yeah, I should probably build that so that we can start researching crap. Okay, so definitely got to get some more stuff in there to get more biofuels in there, to get more shit in the space elevator. That's the fun part about Satisfactory, and one of the things that's disappointing that it makes me so sick to play sometimes is that it really is one of those games that just keeps going and going and going and going. And you can just keep going with it. Like I said, I just need to deliver 50 smart plating. It's gonna happen, as long as I don't run out of power. Which means I'm gonna need to do deliveries to all this stuff. This is something that eventually I can sort out how to make this work better. But for now, we'll leave it right there. Because the production's still going. I just need to have more than one assembler making smart plating, and that's not what I did right now. We have more foundations, which is fine. We have copper wire going in here and regular wire. I probably actually need to pick up some wire. Maybe I don't. All right. Whew. But yeah, so that's how I'm doing. Still plenty of parental shit. Not that it's bad, it's just shit that has to be done. Although I guess it is fair to say that there's been problems recently, and as you probably know or can tell from my accent, I live in the United States of America, so there has been a lot of problems with guns, and it sucks. And it sucks especially because my kids just kind of want to live their lives, and people keep fucking it up. Like, I would love to just have my kids be like, okay, let's go to school and it's fine and not have to worry about it. But then you have my kids who are both pretty excited about the grades they were entering this year, start to have to deal with things like threats at their school. That's probably one of the most common things that I've had to deal with lately, is just fear from threats that have been made by other students to attack the school, shoot up the school, things like that. And it's already bad enough when you have kids having to deal with active shooter drills, which is something I did not have to do as a teacher. I missed out on that. We were close. We had like lockdown drills, and they gave us yellow rope, and we were supposed to go ahead and think about how to get my students through an evacuation procedure, which when I was a teacher, I already had my plan in my mind in place because, ew, that's gross. Because my classroom was at the front of the school at like one of the entrances here, and I had a lot of windows that could take us right into the trees. What in the hell are you doing? This makes no sense. We're gonna make it make sense. Alright. Yeah, my plan was literally, if we have to evac, we're just gonna pretty much go out the window and then go out into the woods beside the school, because there are a lot of plans in places at schools that say essentially shelter in place, hope things go away, but unfortunately we have enough fucking data points to say, you know, that is not the best way to ensure safety of students. What in the hell? You'd think I'd be able to do this. I probably should be doing it from up top, but this is not how it is today. Alright, let's do it like this. No, my plan was essentially to have my kids make an escape, go out into the woods, and then say we're... I really don't know. It is definitely an invalid converter shape, and I don't know... conveyor shape, and I don't know why. Can we just have you... This is the fun part. Sometimes you don't know what the fuck... Like, it'll do that. Screw it, we're just gonna do it this way. This is not how I wanted to do it at all, but this is how we're gonna do it. So these four are gonna go in here. And then we're just gonna have you guys move on up here. But yeah, it sucks. Because there are, after the first school shooting to mark the start of the new school year, there's been a lot of copycat shit. And so there's a lot of students out there that have a lot of trouble in their lives that would just really... Either it's they want help or they want attention or they want something. And now I'm having trouble thinking about this. Alright, put this down and... I don't know why it's locking into that direction. Probably because I'm clicking too soon. Alright, we'll try this. Should be fine. Snap mode is not working great right now, but it's okay. Alright. So, I mean, one of the things that shit already is that they've had to deal with a giant, massive loss of innocence just from the pandemic and just from, honestly, the Trump years and seeing how terrible adults can be to people. And that sucks. But getting the that's not great. Getting the bonus. Yeah, by the way, how am I gonna fucking do this? Guess we just put the splitters over here. There's a better way to do this. This is exactly why I didn't want to do it this way, by the way. Alright. This is spaghetti in real time. Yeah, that's... Once again, I don't know what the fuck it's doing here, but I'll sort this out later. Ugh. I mean, I could just rebuild these and rotate them. That might be the safest bet. I mean, I could also just rewire everything and make this so that this isn't here. I mean, sure, it turns off power to shit for a minute, but... Alright. Okay, you're good. So it's one of those things where... I've said this a lot before in life, and I say this a lot to judges when I say things to their faces, which was originally the theme of what I was going to talk about here, but it's been a tiring day, and I've got to watch the clock here because I'm still not puking. But one of the things that's really frustrating is that people like to use the word resilient to describe children. And I hate that shit. Because kids shouldn't have to be resilient. Because adults are too busy fucking things up. And I know that's some interesting tea to get from... Yeah, we're going to have to redo this part too. That's an interesting take to get from somebody who literally represents parents in DSS court. But it's also fair to say, you know... I see this on the daily. Oh no, there we go. And things just shouldn't be. Kids should be allowed to be kids, and that doesn't mean like kids should be part of the gun cult, which is really what it's turned into. People don't like it when I say that either. All right, let's see. So if we do it like this, I'll have to redo this. Nailed it. Alright, so we can move this down here. Yeah, my kids are still doing good in school and also doing stuff they want to do, and it's tough to watch sometimes, not because they're getting older. I love that they're getting older. It's one of those, I bring this up maybe too much sometimes, but Squirrel Girl was a very good graphic novel that, I put that in the wrong spot, that came out recently. For as much as people are tired of Marvel, it's a good character, well-written, kind of funny story. But there's a line in there from her parents at a parent-teacher conference that sticks with me a bit. That's pretty much just like, well, how can you bear to keep seeing them grow? And it's like, you know what? I love seeing them grow. That's what her parents say. It's just the bigger they get, the more that they're able to do. Just the more interesting and fascinating it is to watch the world from what they're doing. It's like every year is just something new. And get a little emotional even saying that, because I also have 2 kids that did not make it. So it's especially one of those things where you just try to give your kids the best that you can, or the most that you can. And it's really going to be an interesting predicament to see if this biofuel can actually feed faster than what's getting used here. Let's try this real quick. It's 4 per minute. Yeah, I think we're on a net positive here. So that's good. All right, as long as we're on a positive here, that's fine. Ugh. So Satisfactory, the game where you're not supposed to have to think about heavy things, but I mean, there's a lot my kids have had to see that I never had to deal with as a child. And I mean, there's stuff that they don't have to deal with that I had to deal with as a child, but ultimately isn't the goal. Ooh, I actually cut off the power to my entire factory with that little move. So no wonder my power distribution is going really well over there right now. Let's fix that real quick. All right. This is how we get the motion sickness going again. All right. So this needs power. No empty power line connections. You're connected to something, right? Like you're connected here. So you just don't have any power. You just don't have any power. I'm sure there's an overlay I could use to make this a little bit easier on myself. We're just going to do it like this instead. Okay, so 4 of 4, 1 of 4, 3 of 4. So are we getting power back, or am I forgetting how power works? Looks like I'm forgetting how power works. Isn't Satisfactory fun? Okay, so, and there's no like requirement for how your lines get moved around. Like you can just put stuff over here, and I love that you put one thing, connect one thing, and then suddenly we don't have enough power. All right, do I suddenly not have enough power to do this? All right. Well, isn't this telling? One of your grids has been shut down. I mean, all of this is getting biomass just fine. Do I just need some more burners? I mean, that's entirely possible. That's why I want coal. But the thing is that these are going. So that tells me that the issue is that these 4 are not connected to those 4, which is entirely fixable if we do something like this. Problem solving in a world of nausea. The spaghetti, it turns out, is the power lines. Alright. Okay, so you're still 4-4. But the problem is you're not actually connected to anything, so let's get you guys down here. Why are you connected to so much shit? Let's see, does this work? Is it because you guys don't have shit? I guess that would do it. Can't forget the 2 biofuel things on the back here. Are we good? Okay, consumption, production. It's tenuous. You wouldn't think those 2 would be the things to hold everything else back, but there you go. But I mean, it is just a time of changes right now in my life. I mean, my work's picked up in the way I was honestly hoping it would years ago, but we're here now. Kids are still doing all right in school. My wife finished up her doctorate, which is amazing, and she will never tell you it's amazing because she's one of the most humble people I know, but also way smarter than I am. So that's very exciting. The other thing, though, is that I have a lot of stuff that I want to do. And honestly, the world's in kind of a really, really big state of flux for me right now. And a lot of that does have to do with living in America, and you can probably imagine why if you look at the state of the video. So I will just say this much, is that hopefully things go well. And hopefully, it turns out that I can do simple things like finally expanding out into an office space. And finally do things... What is going on here? Is this just slow? It may just be slow. It's idle. Why are you idle? Are you short on screws? Seriously? You're short on screws. That's how many screws. And I tried to specifically build to have everything be screws. But there we are. So, like I said, it's there's only so much shit that's within my control, and I've tried my best to kind of work with things that are within my control, but the ideal situation is things work out. I can continue to be in a safe place where it is safe for my family and we are good. Or there's going to be some big upheavals and I have to go find a place that's safe for my family, and that's just the reality of the situation. I've talked to too many people that, to put it nicely, they have their own concerns and they're trying to get through their lives, and I get it, it's fine. But one of my biggest concerns is just, how can I keep my family safe? How can I ensure to get them there? And it kind of sucks to be like, from a financial standpoint, things are on track after so much instability. Some of it I've talked about on the channel, some of it I haven't talked about. But that's not, financial instability is not the only kind of instability. So, eventually things are going to be good or they're not. And I have plans in place for either, and all I can hope is just to make sure that my kids are alright. So that's that's where I'm going to leave that, because I am actually about to get a very here in a minute. So this is Asher, this is Satisfactory, and while I did make a very inefficient one set of factory stuff, there's always more efficiency to do. Maybe in the future I should start out by skipping straight to coal or skipping straight to tier 2. I don't know for sure if you can do that, but I have shit building over time. I just need more iron. I guess we'll unlock things just for fun and call it a day. So I hope y'all are doing well. Oh man, to God, I'm really short 5 rods. I know some of you all have wondered how I'm doing. I know a few of you all still popped on the Discord to be like, well, clearly you're busy. And that's true too. I always try to do more and do what I can, but it's going to be an interesting end of the year. And I swear to God, I am tired of things being interesting.
Milestone reached. You have been given access to the anti-waste effort for stress testing of materials on Exoplanet's bonus program, also known as Awesome.
There we go.
Your awesome input allows FICSIT to comprehend our amazing universe more clearly. In appreciation of this, we have generously set up an internal, closed economy with exclusive rewards and currency. Directing parts of varying quantity and complexity into the Awesome Resource Sink will grant FICSIT coupons. These coupons can be redeemed in the Awesome Shop for highly desirable items such as new foundations, walls, factory attachments, cosmetics, parts, and more. Next time you have additional resources, just remember to go that extra kilometer. Go awesome.
Alright, so I'll figure out later why the rotors are slow unless it's actually just 4 per minute slow. So I'm making 8 per minute when I need to be making more. But hey, that's all for now. I've literally hit the end of my rope. So thank you all for joining here for a nice mid-afternoon ramble. But I have other shit to do, and as I mentioned at the beginning of this recording, shit to fix myself because I tried too hard and made some mistakes along the way, which is exactly how things are supposed to go, and yet it's still really damn stressful. So thanks for watching, thanks for sticking around, or just thanks for being there for so long. You all take care.